Welcome to the Factor Uncensored. Social media is split about a deadly shooting at a Houston taco shop. It happened last night at Ranchito number 4. A masked man walked in, and you're looking at the video right now, pay close attention, with a fake gun, and he pointed it at customers while taking their money and wallets. One of those customers took action. You're looking at it right now. We stopped it there so you won't see the actual shooting. He can be seen on surveillance video at the restaurant pulling out his real gun. He shot and killed the would-be thief. There are no charges at this moment. Police say they want the customer to come forward so they can make a statement in this case. Let's bring in our guest, George Abrego, owner of HTX Tactical, a gun shop, an attorney, and former judge, Charles Adams. So, Charles, when you see that video, and of course we stopped it, but he shot the guy as he was robbing people in the back. And many people are saying in the back, that's foul play. But your thoughts on that legally?
I think they're completely wrong. I think that video completely exonerates him under Texas law. You have the affirmative defense of self-defense. If you reasonably believe your life is being threatened by a criminal exerting deadly force. But you also have the affirmative defense of third parties when you reasonably believe someone else is criminally threatening the lives of others. The only way this would matter is if the shooter knew that it was a fake gun or an airsoft gun. But if you look at that room of people cowering under tables, and you look at his individual behavior, it's not the behavior of someone that knows it's a fake gun. He was tactically waiting for an appropriate opportunity where that gun was pointed in another direction. Another news station, I'm not going to name them, claimed that the robber was leaving, and I think engendered a lot of this. It's completely false.
If he were leaving, does it matter?
Well, I think he had to know he was leaving. When that shooting occurred, he was still in the dining room, still threatening people with a gun, and it was absolutely and completely lawful, to the point that if this man still hasn't contacted the police and he has not contacted an attorney, I'll represent him for free, because I know he's completely innocent. He's a hero. He's a good Samaritan. Thank God for Houstonians like him.
Now, Charles, if he doesn't come forward soon, but they have that video that's still of him, could he face any charges whatsoever?
Well, you know, when a police officer shoots someone, whether lawfully or unlawfully, the other police officers investigating that shooting always give that officer time to talk to an attorney, time to go away, time to be by himself before he has to give that statement. I think this man was very intelligent in exercising his use of force and deciding to remove himself from the situation. And I think at some point he should talk to law enforcement, but he should only do that after he engages and talks to a lawyer. He needs to go find someone that he trusts to represent his interests.
But if he doesn't come forward ever on his own will,
right,
what will he face?
I don't think he should face anything. He didn't commit a crime.
But what will he face under the law?
I don't think he will face anything. It was clear that he is absolutely exonerated by that video. Absolutely exonerated. He did nothing wrong, and he did nothing wrong by leaving. He removed himself from a situation after trying to save the lives of everyone in that room. He's a hero.
George, let's bring you into this conversation. Should anyone attempt this?
Well, look, I would have to say, first of all, this is a perfect example of why we advocate for concealed carry, legal concealed carry, why we push for citizens to carry firearms and to practice. This guy, obviously, he knew what he was doing. He's practiced before. You can
even see the stance and...
Oh, yeah, and he waited for the right moment to shoot. You know, he didn't pull out his weapon as soon as the robber walked in and shot right then and there. You know, he waited till it was his time, and look, this is it. Let's do it, you know, and, you know, it went very well. So should everybody do it? You know, I can't say that.
Could this have gone bad?
It could have gone very bad. It could have. You know, thank God that everything went well, and thank God the gun was fake, of course. But again, I say this all the time: practice, practice, practice with your weapon. If you're gonna carry a gun, practice. Take a class. Go to the range. Put some shots down range every month or so. Practice, practice, practice. Know your weapon, know how to control it, know how to handle it.
So, Charles, if this guy never comes forward, and we've seen the video and somebody knows him, right? But if he never comes forward, what happens in this case?
Well, I think eventually they're going to present it to a grand. I think they'll identify him. They have not just his picture, but they have the vehicle that he was driving.
Right.
I imagine they're able to ascertain the license plate. I think they will absolutely identify him. At some point, he should talk to law enforcement, but he should only do that with a lawyer, right? But I don't think anything happens to him either way. I think that video is controlling, and while I think it's a tragedy when anyone's killed, and I hate that that robber lost his life, but I am glad that he lost his life instead of someone else. And George makes the perfect point, right? Guns are not magic wands. We saw the homeowner killed when he ran out and confronted the car thieves just, what, 2 weeks ago here in Houston. People sometimes think a gun just changes a situation if you're the good guy, but it doesn't. You have to practice. You have to learn that weapon, and you have to know it. And in fact, if you're not going to put that time in, get some pepper spray or get some other less than lethal. But I don't think anything legally happens to this man. I think this man deserves a key to the city and possibly a mural. I think he's the kind of hero that Houstonians are made of, and I don't think he has any legal liability.
Now, George, I had a baton.
I saw that, you know, and I messaged you. I was like, don't tell me you're carrying a baton. We got to get you.
Thank you guys for joining us here on The Factor.